Okay, so that's all the lights. All of the lights. Welcome back to part two. All right, part two of the video. These are the headlights. I have purposefully opened them apart so I can show you just what's what's where, and so on. So we'll start with this here. This is our projector lens. A pretty big thing. The housing on this side was broken, so this I picked from a friend's garage and modified for it to fit here, which it kind of sits okay. This here is your insert, which is laid with aluminium or whatsoever, so that when the light shines in here, it's reflected very brightly and very nicely. I didn't remove this one because we didn't need to remove it. Now, the issue here was on the projector lens there. There's essentially this little hole here where the top screw there goes in, and then there's another screw on the opposite side that goes in to the opposite side. So ideally what it is when you're adjusting your headlights, it then tilts this projector lens inside or outside and slightly up or down depending on whatever is sitting right. That way you know that your lights are pointing in the direction that they're supposed to. The problem that I found was that this was the opposite side, which then means that this plastic clip here, which has a stop on the end there, was bumping into the screw over here, which then meant that every time I was trying to adjust, or you put it in and try to adjust, it is restricted. It has restricted movement depending on how far it goes, which is why you'd find that it was out of place, which I figured out, and then I'm gonna fix. So I need to put all of this back together, but before I put all of this back together, I then need to redo all the lights and see just how bright the lights are. Then once I'm happy about that, we'll remove all the silicone around this rim there and then apply a new coat and then put it back together. Right? Yeah. Carlos, this guy should be dead by now. Babes, she's the main mechanic. She advises me on what I need to do with regards to all of this. So let's get to doing all of this. The other issue with the lighting is the front here. So everything on the left side is fine. The lights work okay, the plugins and all that work okay, but on the right side they aren't. So only the inner light, this one here, works okay on the right side, and then I sort of removed all the things that were closing here so I could follow the line into the fuse box there and see why it wasn't bringing power here. So what I've momentarily done right now, which is going to be my solution, because following this whole thing in this whole harness is going to be a lot of work, is that I've connected both this here switch or this here bulb to this bulb there. So this wire that I've put, this white wire here, is connected to the positive terminal of this light, and it comes to feed in from the positive of this other light. That way when I switch it on, then both lights come on like it should come on the other side. This is the amount of work that needs to be done. So if you can see inside the rim here, all around there is the silicone that was there before. So if you're in the previous video when you saw me taking out separating the headlights using that heat gun, I was primarily heating up all that silicone that's in and around the rim there to make it soft. That way I can separate the top bit and the bottom bit. So now to take out the old silicone, I'm gonna use my trusty blade. His name is Steve. Alright, so this is my trusted guy. His name is Steve. Steve, say hi to everybody. Alright. He's going to be helping me to dig into there and take out the silicone, as well as that screwdriver, which is a star and a flathead screwdriver on one end. So the whole idea really would be to use Steve to cut through all of the rubber and stuff that's in and around there, like that. And then we're going to use screwdriver on one end to kind of dig into all of that, so we're able to get like a nice huge chunk. Just be careful not to be too firm, because you're going to end up breaking the housing where you don't want to. So yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, I am happy with most of how this has turned out. I've been able to dig into most of that and it's out. I think the remaining bits are not something that I should primarily be very worried about, because when I'm sitting all of this up, I'm going to make sure that I put a very nice thick layer of silicone inside the rim there. A very nice, very thick layer, so that once I close or put the glass back, it's able to close off everything, including whatever air pockets may be here. Because remember, if there's air that's if like there's moisture early in the morning and stuff that drips into here, you end up finding that your headlights will look damp and have water pockets built up in certain spaces. So the trick really is to be able to cover a lot of this in a very nice thick layer of silicone. So even after I put my silicone inside this rim here, I am going to be able to put silicone as well on top of the glass in and around there, just to make sure that I close off whatever air pockets may be left open. This is what's happened to my silicone. Look at it. It's all hardened up. I can't use it. And because there's very little left in the tube, this now becomes useless. So now I have to buy some more silicone. Yeah, a new tube, fresh new tube, and I have to be careful about how I'm going to close it next time. And then the fresh new tube is what we're going to use to put silicone inside there and around the glass and get it back working again. This looks like licorice. But yeah, so now I gotta stop because my morale is done and I gotta go find a new tube of silicone. There's still some at the bottom here. You can see it seeping out there. Some. It's not like a lot for you to write home about, but you know, I really don't have any use for it anymore because it's really just little. So I need to go get some silicone. So yeah.